In today's episode, we are not talking about parakeets. I see a lot of hands going up from the overachievers out there who read ahead instead of leveling up their ranged DPSs. I can't blame you for your confusion since the next chapter in the manga is called The Pink-Cheeked Parakeet and the next episode of the show is called The Cursed Parakeet and the raw Japanese scans call it Noroi no Inko. You'll notice I'm saying all of this over video footage I took of a bunch of parakeets at my local True Parrot buffet and steakhouse because I just thought it was important that we all know what parakeets look like since Bleach doesn't seem to have a clue. This is a fucking cockatiel. Now that that's out of the way, let's meet the third member of our party. You might recognize his torso from a quick shot in an earlier episode. He's hard to miss, partially because he's 6'5.5" at 16 years old, and partially because he's both the first and last Mexican I've ever seen in an anime. Look at Bleach dipping its toes into diverse representation. Looks like 2004 is going to be the year where everything gets better for minorities in media. His name is Sado Yasutora, also known as Chado, also known as Chad. His first act as an on-screen protagonist is to just sort of stand there and not die. It's a neat little trick that comes in handy for the people around him and earns him a nice trophy in the form of a cursed parakeet. See, now you've got me doing it. The next day, Chad skips homeroom because kids these days. Rukia lets slip that Soul Reapers have to go to school too, then begins the most impressive, adorable, non-stop gag that I've ever seen on TV for the next 4 glorious minutes while the school life of slices around her. Oh hey, did you notice the on-screen text? At this point, I'm getting tired of mentioning it and they obviously don't give a shit, so why should I? The show and the manga disagree on whether this next scene is a flashback or happens in the moment, but the main takeaway is that Chad is good people and that, hang on to your asses, this is Ichigo's natural hair color. Anyway, no one seems to care that the parakeet is actually a cockatiel because they're all too focused on the fact that it's also a dead boy. Ichigo experiences power creep for the first time this episode and Rukia damn near tears up with pride. She says not to worry about the pet though, they can kill the kid later. Back home, we get to see the Kurosaki family in their element, all business in the front with no time for party in the back. Looks like Ichigo is pretty useless unless someone's already dead, which sort of sucks for his self-esteem, but luckily it's not that kind of show because 2020 is already a rough year and I'm in no mood for a bummer. Instead, Chad gets hit by a car because no one in this goddamn city knows how to drive. I feel like Bleach is happening to the NPCs of a Grand Theft Auto game controlled by a 13-year-old brat who's just now learning how to vent his sexual frustration. The bird is fine though and Kareen knows what's up, that ain't no true parrot. The anime didn't feel like animating Chad's bitching fashion because we're working on a budget here people, but I guess that doesn't matter because it's ruined now anyway since that Hollow's so bad at giving high fives and also you know that floor is gonna wrinkle that fresh press. A bit later he does a dining dash out the window and it's time to switch to disc 2 in the manga. Volume 1 leaves us with a parting gift in the shape of a flying heart snake tattoo on Chad's left shoulder. It reads Amore et Morte, which literally translates to love and death and unliterally translates to Chad's a romantic. Kareen gets soul sick from seeing through the eyes of the memories of a dead boy and a live bird, but in the manga she goes to school anyway so she doesn't lose that coveted perfect attendance certificate. Her symptoms are also a lot less I have a fever and a lot more I'm going to stab you if I don't die first. Meanwhile, the search is on for Sado Chado Chad Yasutora. Rukia explains that Hollows are a superstitious cowardly lot who can hide in the black sharpie between Earth and not really heaven which also has a school maybe. Unfortunately, there's no way to find Chad or the not parakeet without another significant bout of power escalation and there's no way God damn it Ichigo, it's only been 10 minutes. So to recap, he can see soul ribbons now and also those are soul ribbons and also only high level soul reapers can see soul ribbons so we're sort of breaking the rules at the same time that we're learning them. But it's fine because anime protagonist boys are just hashtag that good and that's sort of what we signed up for, am I right? The Chad hides out in a warehouse that wins the award for worst windows. His advanced cloaking technology doesn't work against hollows so he leaps into plan B, which is basically plan A but a bit faster and further away. Apologies for the rhyming couplet. Ichigo finds Chad by using his new super high level special soul searching unlockable skill and Kareen finds Ichigo by using dumb fucking luck. They split the party so that Kareen can give some exposition about the bird boy seeing his mom get murdered, which Kareen also saw because they're the same age, which I guess is important, and that's why she has the flu now. The manga takes the opportunity to make us sadder and gives us some quick character details on the different way Yuzu and Kareen changed when their mom died. Yuzu stepped up, Kareen stepped in. There's nothing funny about it, so we'll just move on. Rukia's fake doll body is just as weak as a real doll body, and she's so pissed about the manufacturer that she trips over a hollow. Luckily, she can still do Muay Thai and still has her cantrips. Unluckily, they suck ATM. The baddie with the gross man voice drops a monologue on how he uses the bird as bait to eat soul reapers because he's hella not nice. This is a huge diversion from the dumb hollows we started off with and the sad one we just killed and reminds us that when it comes to characters, Bleach is bitchin'. The anime really isn't sure how to transition from all of this into the end credits, so it literally just stops in the middle of the road. We'll pick up next week when Chad takes that iron body training on the offensive. Hollows wouldn't like or subscribe.